Hi, Anton. Nice to see that you're back and writing essays for us. So let's take a look at what you've done here. This is the topic about part-time jobs and the advantages and disadvantages. Let's see what you said. The issue of students working during their student years has been a sensitive topic for numerous years. Therefore, it is possible to find a lot of advantages. There are certainly drawbacks that are definitely worth mentioning. All right, you're missing a cohesive device here to show contrast because these are two opposing statements. So let's try it one more time. Therefore, it is possible to find a lot of advantages. However, there are certain drawbacks that are definitely worth mentioning. Does the overall positive effect of students earning money and experience really matter in the modern society? This essay will analyze both issues using the examples from the UK government and Oxford University before arriving at a reasoned conclusion. Okay, I'd rather you didn't do that. And I think I might have mentioned in some of your previous essays. You see here that it asks you very specifically if the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. If you look at the band descriptors for task 7, they say that you present a clear position throughout your essay. For your position to be clear throughout, it has to be clear from your introduction. Okay, the easiest way to do that is to simply answer the question, whatever it is, whatever that command is, make sure you answer it in your introduction. So you're basically not doing yourself any favors by, keeping it like a little surprise party for the end of the essay. Okay, so let's move on. On the one hand, it is fair to say that students study to eventually become professionals and join the workforce. As a part-time job is known to be the major source of experience for young people, so the benefit is clearly visible. All right, I don't understand that, and there is clearly something grammatically wrong here. As a part-time job is known with an N to be the major source. What do you mean experience? Why? I don't totally understand that, but I have a feeling you're going to go into it. So, for instance, recent empirical research presented by the UK government shows that over 60% of students who had attended part-time jobs, you don't attend a part-time job, you have a part-time job, you worked a part-time job, I don't know what else you do to a part-time job. Well, you don't attend it, that's for sure. Found long-term contracts right after graduation. Okay. If they would have stayed away from that temporary work, the result would be different. You don't know that for sure. You can't really say that. Thus, it is clear that there are certain beneficial... That doesn't make sense. There is certain beneficial effect. It's just awkward sounding. How about there are certain beneficial effects, plural, for students enrolled in part-time jobs? Again, enrolled is the wrong. Employed would have been a good word. There you go. Employed in part-time jobs, get rid of that A. Now, my problem with this paragraph, Anton, is that some of your ideas don't completely flow from one to the other. So, I would have liked to see some different links between some of these ideas. Let me show you what I mean. Here you say that it's a major source of experience, but I don't understand what kind of experience. Do you mean life experience? Do you mean work experience? So you need to go into a little more detail about that. And why this benefit. So here you say, so the benefit is clearly visible. So I don't really understand what you're getting at here. Okay? And then you tell me that 60% of students found jobs right after graduation. So basically, reading this sentence, I didn't know that this is what you meant. It was just a little confusing. So what you could have done, let's take a look at that. It's basically this sentence, I think, that's problematic. It's just not really clear what you're talking about. And it leaves it could be interpreted in so many ways. So let's take a look at it again. Let's see. On the one hand, it is fair to say that students study to eventually become professionals and join the workforce. Part-time... no. It is fair to say... Look at this. It even starts back over here. It's fair to say that students study to become professionals and join the workforce. Okay, yeah, fair enough. That's why they study. And then here you say jobs are the main source of experience. So it's just... it's very disjointed, so I'm having a really hard time linking some of these ideas together. Let me take a look at it one more time. Okay, I think I came up with it. again, it's this sentence that's a problem. It's just not really linking these two ideas. So here's what I suggest. It is fair to say that students study to eventually become professionals and join the workforce. This transition to the workforce is made easier when students work during their university studies. And then the rest of this makes sense here, okay? This sentence, it's a generalization and you're assuming something and you can't really prove that. So I would stay away from this sentence, okay? You could say, if you had tempered it, if you had kind of made it a little less absolute, then it might have worked. Let me tell you what I mean. If they would, I don't really care for this word stayed away. If they had not been involved in temporary work, the result could have been different. Okay? So you're not making it so absolute. And that's a better idea in an IELTS essay, okay? And then we're fine. Let's move on because I spent a ton of time on that paragraph. Let's keep going. On the other hand, there is ample evidence that additional jobs, not additional jobs, that just working or a job. Additional jobs means is that they have one job and they're getting a second one. Can be seen as a major distraction, provided that nowadays the educational process is tough and hard to master. It is obvious that a modern student doesn't have a lot of free time to spare. First of all, we never use contractions in IELTS essays, ever, because it's informal. We don't want to use any informal language. Speaking of informal language, tough feels rather informal. Okay, you could say difficult. That's a better word. That is why it is highly risky. That doesn't work together. That's not a collocation that works. So it is a great risk. That works. So it is a great risk to attend additional activities, no comma, that require attention and effort. For example, a study from the University of Oxford clearly states that more than a half of Oxford first-time students suffer from a lack of free time. Suffer from a lack. Consequently, it is understandable why a part-time job is considered to be a disadvantage. To be a, again. From the examples and points given, it is clear that having a part-time job for a student is more beneficial in the long term. There are certain drawbacks, but the overall positive effect cannot be overstated. In modern Western society, work experience is a major currency, so one should start collecting it as soon as possible. All right, I liked your conclusion, but check out what happens. This is another reason why I suggest, well, that you have to say your position in the introduction. The way you organize your paragraphs, it looks like you think this is more important. Basically, what we do in English essays is we write the side that we support second. So we write it closer to our conclusion. It gives it more weight, and it's the last thing that the reader reads, and so it stays in the memory of the reader more. But again, it's just another reason why you needed to write your position here, because reading this as an English language speaker, I assume that this is what you're in favor of, but it's actually not. So an examiner is going to say, okay, well, I didn't have a clear position from the beginning to the end. And in terms of coherence and cohesion, the organization of the ideas is wrong because it leads the reader to believe that this is what you support when in fact it isn't. Okay? So a couple of major things that I want you to change here, and then some of those grammatical and word choices. Let's move on to your letter. Please capitalize the S and the M here. So upon review of your posting of new marketing multimedia, okay, let's change that. It should be upon review of your post for a new marketing multimedia developed to join the team, to join your team, I think would be better. I felt compelled to submit my resume for your consideration. My background encompasses, write an N here, creating video and static content for numerous marketing campaigns as well as leading a team of developers. That is why I consider myself a good fit. Okay. On a personal level, I can confirm, comma here, I can confirm that my qualities are ideal for this job. I'm energetic and optimistic and easy to work with. Too many ands. I'm energetic, comma, optimistic and easy to work with. As I work closely with, okay, not as I work, but it should be as this job requires working closely with different stakeholders, this quality, or these quality, ESE, are a must. My background includes working in a similar position for more than 5 years. So I consider myself experienced for this job. My previous experience also includes working as a web developer, so this kind of work is also covered by me. Hoping to hear from you soon. Yours sincerely. Okay, so first of all, you started Dear Sir, Madam. You don't know the name of the person you're writing to. Therefore, you have to finish your letter. Yours faithfully. First thing. Hope to hear from you soon it should be here, first of all. But I don't want any ellipsis like this in a formal letter. Write the entire sentence out. So it should be, I hope to hear from you soon. I also thought your letter ended rather suddenly. I think you should have had something that kind of wrapped up this letter. So for example, my previous experience also includes working as a web developer, so this kind of work is also covered by me. Let's get to that in a minute. I look forward to discussing with you my skills and background in an interview that we may schedule at your convenience. Okay, so something else just wrapping up, and then you can say, hope to hear from you. I hope to hear from you, rather, and then yours faithfully, etc., etc. So what I also had a problem with this was this sentence. It just felt rather awkward and certainly not formal enough for a cover letter. So let's try it. My previous experience also includes working at work without the ing as a web developer, where I did A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, not this work is also covered by me. It felt very awkward. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, let's talk about now the bullets specifically. Possible qualifications or reason for you to be hired. All right, well, you didn't really talk about your academic background. And usually when they're talking about possible qualifications, that's what they mean. They mean your sort of formal qualifications and what makes you eligible to apply for this position. You didn't really talk about any of that, and I think you should have. Okay? Okay, you told me here that that's why you consider yourself a good fit. I get it, but still, I think you should have mentioned some sort of academic background, whether it's a certificate or a master's or a bachelor's or a PhD or just something, okay? You should have given something with that, because otherwise it feels like this is really your past experience, okay? Look, my background encompasses creating video. That's past experience. And then here, my background. So it kind of felt like you were talking about your past experience number 3 in 2 different paragraphs. I also don't like that started my background. So again, here I felt you really should have talked about your academic qualifications. You did an okay job of talking about energy and enthusiasm, although I would have liked you to be a little more energetic and a little more enthusiastic. Maybe say that you have heard that this company works with, I don't know, LMNOP software, and so for that reason, you recently acquired a certification in that kind of software, language, programming, I don't know, something to show that you really are interested in this company and that you're showing that you're going above and beyond the call of duty. Alright, Anton, so a lot of stuff in this set of essays today. Go ahead and correct them, send them back to us, and let's see your next set. Okay? Good luck.